Yo, what's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about how to win with money, especially at an early age. And the best way to actually talk about this and how to do it is just for me to tell my own story, right? Because, when you tell stories, people just, they learn. So starting from an early age, there's a lot of traps where you can get actually stuck blowing money or losing money. Let's just talk about when you don't have any money to start with. And I remember when I was 18, I got my first credit card. First credit card was when I was 18. So if you're getting your first credit card right now, obviously, be careful with it, because I got my first credit card and I think I had I forget how big the limit was, but maybe $2,000. And I'll tell you what, I maxed that out. I didn't really think I had to pay it back for some reason. I don't really know why. But that was definitely, your first credit card, I would say, is definitely a way to blow money, right? Because you don't think you have to actually pay it back. And when you're very young at 18, you don't really realize a lot of stuff. So it's almost like signing up for the Navy or the Army when you're 18. You don't really know what you're doing. So anyway, probably don't, get into credit card debt and whatnot and buy, because you want to buy things. There's so many things that you want, but you probably shouldn't be getting them. You just really, really, really want them. And you got this credit card because you turn 18 and you're like, okay, well, now I can get it. That's one trap. Another trap I fell into in college, weirdly enough, is, and it wasn't like I don't know how it really happened, but gambling. I don't know, guys, fell into sports betting, and then, I was gambling on other stuff. And, it's very addicting, actually. It's very, very addicting. Gambling on sports, sometimes because you think you know some stuff, but sometimes just things happen out of your control. You're like, oh my God. And then it's like a super big roller coaster, super frustrating. And let's say, even if you were to let's say you're gambling. Here's a money trap. Let's say you're gambling. Let's say you spend 1,000 hours gambling and you break even. Well, you just lost 1,000 hours of your time. And you don't really realize that at a young age because you think you have unlimited time and you're looking to live forever. But as you get older, you realize time's running out and you don't really want to spend your time gambling. And then you're like, okay, well, even if I do break even, I still lost all that time. Even if I do win some amount of money, probably wasn't worth it. And odds are you could lose too. So you could lose and you could break even. So you're going to lose. So no matter what, you're going to lose. So gambling was really a trap at a young age. Some people just last in it forever but definitely. I don't know how it happened. It's just like a slippery slope. You do it and then you're chasing losses. You lose let's say X amount of dollars and then you want to, gamble to get it back. And so I think it's the chasing the losses part. The best way to win with money is just to build incremental steps, because let's say you want $1 million, it's very difficult. To get $1 million, you have to save up $2 million almost, because you got to pay 50% in tax roughly, and then you get $1 million. So in order to get to a lot of money, sometimes it's best, at least what's worked for me, is to do incremental goals in a believable time frame. So let's say I never had $100,000 in my life. I put $100,000, have $100,000 on a piece of paper, and I looked at it a lot. And that was my goal. And maybe after a year or two, I got there. And then, okay, after that, I said, okay, let me get to 200,000. Let me get to 400,000. So it's always incremental goals in order to get to such a, X amount of dollars. And when you reach the point where you can start investing in assets like real estate or whatever it is, the things that appreciate and go up, then that kind of accelerates the rate at which you can build up money. So very interesting. The thing about money is that in order to win with money, you got to understand taxes. You got to understand that you're going to have to pay a lot in taxes. There's no way around it. If you don't, IRS will come for you. And if they don't, it's not going to be good. So you got to pay the proper amount of tax. And then you also have to make sure that you're making it in legal ways. You don't want to be doing it in shady ways. A lot of easy legal ways to make money. I mean, if you go outside, everybody's eating food, everybody's buying coffee. I mean, people are always spending money on food and coffee and alcohol and some other stuff. And with enough will and desire, you can figure out how to make situations like that, where you can be the one feeding them alcohol or food and coffee, if that's really what you desire to do for their money. So that's just one way. It's all around, and that's totally legal, unless you don't get the proper licenses. So another thing is, not to save too much. Probably you can spend a little bit, because sometimes if you save too much, then there's a lot of unhappiness that comes with not being able to experience any of your situations, like any experiences in life. So you want to do a combination of both. But I mean, I've always been a saver for the most part. I mean, there have been times where I've definitely spent, but overall, I've saved a good amount. I mean, so another way to win with money is that when you start making money, let's say you make an X amount of dollars, you got to calculate how much you're roughly making a year. And then you have to replace yourself with people who are more qualified and better than you and pay them a rate that is equal to what you were getting so that you can go and do something that's like more valuable with your time. For example, you're getting paid, let's say $100 an hour average. Well, in order for you to get to $200 an hour, you're going to have to you're going to have to give up some of your income initially, pay somebody $100, hopefully better at the thing that you're trying to do so that you can go and chase after that $200 an hour payday. So you're almost always on like a commission basis with money. You don't want to always be a salary capped per hour, because if you are, then you can't really go make anything more than your hourly wage. So that's why commissioned anything is always the best, but having your own business is a commissioned sale almost, because you get the profit at the end of the business once everything is all done and said with. You pay everybody first, but you get paid last, but you could also, you're endless, your pay is endless. So these are just a few ways to win with money. Obviously, my voice is a little scratchy. If you like the content so far, you click the like button and subscribe too. Helps me out. What else? Let me think. That's about it for today. That was just a short little bit of some traps you can get into. Also, don't blow too much money on alcohol, especially when you're drinking. I found that it actually, you're a lot more prone to spend money on stupid stuff. I don't know why. Like when you're drinking, money kind of flies out of the pocket sometimes. Your health flies out, time flies out, a lot of stuff flies out. So I've noticed that when I don't drink or anything of the sort, I'm not spending as much money like wildly. So that's another way to win with money. Always making sure your environment's clean, like your car's relatively clean. You have your place is clean and organized. You pay for made stuff, it's not dirty, because that's going to be a direct reflection of what's going on in your mind, I think. And the cleaner your car and your place is, the cleaner your world and your mind is going to be. So I think it's a good investment. It's almost like cleaning up your mind. So that's all for today. Those are just a few thoughts of how to win with money. So also, if you don't hang around too many broke people, if you're always hanging around people with no money, it's going to be very difficult to get more money. They say you are the average income of the 5 people you hang around with the most often, and I think I believe that partly. So always try to hang out with people who are like at a little higher level financially than you, so you can kind of peer into their life, and it'll push you hard. The competition will set in, natural selection, I think. So. Or not natural selection, just a desire to compete, I think, unless you're not competitive at all. So anyway, that's all. See you later. Merry Christmas.